That's what I'm feeling. There's a spider in this thing. Alright, bye-bye. It's a beautiful day outside, and I wanted to show some books that I have gotten over the last week-ish. Half of them are from little libraries, the other half are from my local thrift store, or my local Canadian Tire, which is selling books, used books, for $1. Starting with the book that I chose to start reading, Through a Glass Darkly by Harleen Cohen, a magnificent tapestry of a grand and glorious era, as opulent and passionate as the 18th century it celebrates. Through a Glass Darkly will sweep you away into the splendors of a lost era. Like Dawn with the Wind, it is rich with characters so vivid, from aristocrats to scoundrels. They create their own immortality. Here's the story of a great family ruled by a dowager of extraordinary power, of a young woman seeking love in a world of English luxury and French intrigue, and of a man haunted by a secret that can turn all their dreams to ashes. I have since learned that this is the second book in a series. I don't think you have to read the first book to understand this. Very thick. It's like 707 pages. So it'll take me a while, probably. I read about 10 pages every evening. Oh, that I got for $1 at my Canadian Tire. Same with this one. A Clash of Kings, George R.R. Martin, second book in the Game of Thrones series. Now, I did read that you don't have to, if you don't want to, read the first book. If you've watched a series, it said that the first season of the series is very accurate to the book. If you've watched a series, you don't have to read the first book if you don't want to. I'll look at my local library. It's probably there. But yeah, I have a second book of the series, A Clash of Kings. In this eagerly awaited sequel to A Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin has created a work of unsurpassed vision, power, and imagination. A Clash of Kings. A Clash of Kings transports us to a world of revelry and revenge, wizardry and warfare unlike any you have ever experienced. A comet of the color of blood and flame cuts across the sky, and from the ancient citadel of Dragonstone to the forbidding shores of Winterfell, chaos reigns. 6 factions struggle for control of a divided land, and the Iron Throne of 17 kingdoms, preparing to stake their claims through tempest, turmoil, and war. It is a tale in which brother plots against brother, and the dead rise to walk in the night. Here, a princess masquerades as an orphan boy. A knight of the mind prepares poison for a treacherous sorceress. And while men descend from the mountains of the moon to ravage the countryside, Against a backdrop of incest and fratricide, alchemy and murder, victory may go to the men and women possessed of the coldest ill and the coldest hearts. For when kings clash, the whole land trembles. And that's a good description. I don't think I read that before now. I've watched the series, so I do want to read the books. Another one from my local Canadian Shire, Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I think that's how you say her name. TV show cover. I think it came out in like 2018, something like that. Fresh from a brief stay at the site hospital, reporter Camille Freeter faces a troubling assignment. She must return to her tiny hometown to cover the murders of two preteen girls. For years, Camille has hardly spoken to her neurotic hypochondriac mother or to the half-sister she barely knows, a 13-year-old with an eerie grip on the town. Now installed in her old bedroom in her family's Victorian mansion, Camille finds herself identifying with the young victims a little too strongly. Dogged by her own demons, she must unravel the psychological puzzle of her own past if she wants to get to the story and survive this homecoming. Seemed interesting to me. Yay, win. It's been hot here, so. Hashtag black in school. I have people who wearing yellow. I think that's how you say their name. Last name. Forward by Awan Ibrahim. Hashtag black in school is Khadija's high school journal, in which she documents, processes, and resists systematic racism, microaggressions, stereotypes, and outright racism she experienced in Canada's education system. Her words will resonate with some, but will shock, appall, and animate a great many more into action towards a society that is truly equitable for all. Equitable for all, sorry. Racism in the 60s or whatever it says in the history books. It's not just history, it's happening today too. So I definitely want to read that. That's what I'm feeling. There's a spider in this thing. I thinking maybe is it my hair? Is it the tag? No, it was a spider. Money by Mona Awad. I think that's how you say it. Now, I have been wanting to read this one for a while. I think I found this in another little library a few years ago, and I didn't pick it up. It wasn't interesting to me at the time. I found it at my local thrift store, as I said a few days ago, and I decided to grab it. A scholarship student who prefers the community of her dark imagination to that of most people. Samantha Heather McKay is utterly repelled by the rest of her graduate fiction writing cohorts at New England's elite Warren University. A clique of unbearably
Saccharin?
I don't know. Yet sinister rich girls who call each other buddy and seem to move and speak as one. But everything changes when Samantha receives an invitation to the bunny's fabled smut salon and finds herself inexplicably drawn to their front door, ditching her only friend Ava in the process. As Samantha plunges deeper and deeper into the bunny's world and begins to take part in their monstrous experiments, the edge of reality begins to blur. Soon her friendships with Ava and the bunny will be brought into deadly collision. Yeah, it sounds a little, kind of sounds like between Frankenstein and Jekyll and Hyde to me. The Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This came out, in 2020, but it's a prequel, I think. Yeah. I've watched the movies, the movies for the first 3 books. I've only read the first book, but I feel I know enough of the story that I'm gonna read this. Yeah, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Yeah. It is the morning of the reaping that will kick off the 10th annual Hunger Games. In the capital, 18-year-old Cornelius Snow is preparing for his one shot at Lori as a mentor in the games. The once mighty house of Snow has fallen on hard times, its fate hanging on a slender chance that Cornelius will be able to outcharm, outwit, and outmaneuver his fellow students to mentor the winning champion. The odds are against him. He's been given the humiliating assignment of mentoring the female tribute from District 12, lowest of the low. Their fates are now completely intertwined. Every choice Cornelius makes could lead to favor or failure, triumph or ruin. Inside the arena, it will be a fight to the death. Outside the arena, Cornelius starts to feel for Lucy Bray, his new tribute, and must weigh his need to follow the rules against his desire to survive, no matter what it takes. Interesting. These next 3 I found yesterday in one of the libraries I went to. Ivanhoe, A Romance by Sir Walter Scott. I liked the cover. That was the first thing that drew me. With an introduction by Diana Gabaldon. How is this only $12? That seems extremely cheap for Canada. US 10, Canada, US 10, Canada, $12. In one of the first great historical novels, hailed by Victor Hugo as, quote, the real epic of our age, unquote. The Norman-Saxon conflict is vividly recentered. Sir Wilfrid of Ivanhoe returns home to England from the Third Crusade to claim his inheritance in the love of the Lady Rowena. If you don't know anything about the Crusades, basically all of them were failures, except maybe 2 or 3 of them. The Extra History channel has some amazing videos about the First Crusade. The heroic adventures of the snowball Saxon knights involve them in the battle between Richard the Lionheart and Richard's mountainous brother John. A struggle that brings Ivanhoe into alliance with the mysterious outlaw Robin Hood in his legendary fight for the forces of good. Diana Gabaldon, who wrote the introduction, praises Sir Walter Scott, quote, not merely as a purveyor of sensation and entertainment, but as a craftsman of historical fiction, end quote. Oh, that's where I've heard her name. Oh, Gabaldon. She's the author of Outlander. That's where I know her from. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. I got it. I showed my dad this book and he laughed so much. Because of the title. I've been wanting to read this one for a while, and I cannot believe I found this in a little library. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I love this cover. It looks, well, the story is set in the 80s, so it's basically a VHS, VHS. It's really neat. I thought it was really cool. High school sophomores Abby and Gretchen have been best friends since 4th grade. But after an evening of skinny dipping goes disastrously wrong, Gretchen begins to act differently. She's moody, she's irritable, and bizarre incidents keep happening whenever she's nearby. Abby's investigation leads her to some startling discoveries, and by the time their story reaches its terrifying conclusion, the fate of Abby and Gretchen will be determined by a single question. Is their friendship powerful enough to beat the devil? I'll find out. It's so windy. I found this at my local thrift store, and I couldn't believe it. It's a hardback of the book of Gothel by Mary McMahon. No, it's not McMahon. McMahon, I think. Everyone knows the story of Rapunzel in her tower, but you know the story of the witch who put her there. Mary McMahon spelled finding you reveals the truth behind the fairy tale. The truth they never wanted you to know, as only a witch might tell you. Germany, 1156. With her strange black eyes and even stranger fainting spells, young Halloween never quite fit in. Shunned by her village, her only solace lies in the stories her mother tells of child-stealing witches, a princess in wolf's inns, and of an ancient tower cloaked in mist, where women will find shelter if they're brave enough to seek it. When her mother dies, and Halloween is left unmourned, with nothing left for her in her village, she sets out to find the legendary tower her mother spoke of, a place called Gothel, where she meets a wise woman willing to take her under her wing. There she discovers magic is found, not only in the realm of fairy tales. But Hellwise is not the only woman to seek refuge at Gothel. It is also a haven for a girl named Rita, who carries with her a secret the church strives to keep hidden. A secret that reveals the dark world of ancient spells and murderous nobles behind the world Hellwise has always known. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to my most recent book haul. I hope you guys have a day, week, month, whatever it is for you. I will see you next time. Bye. No. No. Okay.